Hey everyone, let's talk about something that's probably sitting on your kitchen counter right now: salt. That innocent-looking white crystal that makes everything taste better. But here's the thing, that little shaker might be doing way more damage to your body than you realize. And it's happening so slowly that you won't even notice until it's too late. I know what you're thinking. Salt? Really? We've been using it for thousands of years. And you're right. Salt is actually essential for our bodies. We need it for nerve function, muscle contraction, keeping our fluids balanced. But here's where it gets interesting. Your body only needs about 500 milligrams of sodium per day to function properly. That's roughly a quarter teaspoon. Now guess how much the average person is consuming. According to the CDC, Americans are eating more than 3,300 milligrams daily. That's over 6 times what we actually need. Globally, the WHO estimates that adults consume between 3,600 to 4,000 milligrams per day, nearly double their recommended maximum of 2,000 milligrams. So where's all this extra salt coming from? And this is the part that shocked me. About 75% of the sodium we consume doesn't come from the salt shaker. It's hiding in processed foods. That sandwich you grabbed for lunch? Loaded with it. The pasta sauce from a jar? Same story. Even bread can pack around 230 milligrams per slice. We're basically drowning in sodium without even realizing it. Now let's talk about what this is actually doing to your body. The most obvious damage? Your blood pressure. When you eat too much salt, your body holds on to extra water to dilute that sodium. This increases the volume of blood flowing through your vessels, and your heart has to work harder. Over time, this leads to hypertension. In a comprehensive review of 47 sodium reduction, trials found that decreasing sodium intake by about 1,000 milligrams reduced blood pressure by an average of 3.3 over 2.2 millimeters of mercury in adults. That might not sound like much, but when we're talking about preventing strokes and heart attacks, every point matters. And here's where it gets really serious. Heart disease and stroke are the leading causes of death globally. Studies have shown that for every 1,000 milligrams increase in daily sodium intake, there's an 18% increased risk of cardiovascular disease. Think about that for a second. Nearly 1 in 5 increased risk just from eating an extra 1,000 milligrams, which is less than half a teaspoon of salt. Recent research from England between 2003 and 2018 confirmed this connection, showing that population-level reductions in sodium consumption translate to fewer deaths. But the damage doesn't stop at your heart. Your kidneys are taking a beating too. These organs filter out excess sodium from your blood. When you consistently overload them with salt, they have to work overtime. Research looking at patients with kidney disease found that higher sodium intake was associated with faster kidney function decline and increased kidney volume. Your kidneys literally grow larger trying to cope with all that sodium, and not in a good way. And if you thought that was bad, wait until you hear what salt does to your bones. When your kidneys flush out excess sodium, they also flush out calcium. Studies have found that for every extra 1,000 milligrams of sodium you consume per day, you lose about 25 milligrams of calcium through your urine. Over months and years, this calcium loss adds up. Your body starts pulling calcium from your bones to maintain proper levels in your blood, leading to osteoporosis. This is especially concerning for older adults and postmenopausal women, who are already at higher risk for bone loss. Now, you might want to sit down for this next part. Excessive salt intake has been linked to stomach cancer. A recent study from researchers at MedUni, Vienna found that people who frequently add salt to their food have a 39% higher risk of developing gastric cancer compared to those who rarely add extra salt. 39%! The mechanism behind this is fascinating and frightening. Salt can damage the lining of your stomach, making it more vulnerable to infection from Helicobacter pylori, a bacteria strongly associated with stomach cancer. High salt intake also promotes cell mutations. Multiple studies have confirmed this dose-dependent relationship, meaning the more salt you eat, the higher your risk. Before we go further, if you're finding this information valuable, please hit that like button. It really helps us reach more people who need to hear this. Here's something that might surprise you. Different people respond differently to salt. Some individuals are what researchers call salt sensitive. Their blood pressure shoots up significantly with high sodium intake. Others are salt resistant. Studies have found that women, people over 50, African Americans, and those already dealing with high blood pressure tend to be more salt sensitive. But here's the catch. Even if you think you're salt resistant, that doesn't mean you're off the hook. Research shows that high sodium intake can damage your heart, arteries, and kidneys. Even without raising your blood pressure, the harm is happening whether you feel it or not. Meta-analyses examining multiple studies have consistently shown that reducing sodium intake lowers the risk of cardiovascular events and mortality. One particularly comprehensive analysis found that the sodium to potassium ratio in our diet matters enormously. High sodium paired with low potassium creates a perfect storm for cardiovascular disease. Interestingly, increasing potassium intake by 1,000 milligrams was associated with an 18% lower risk of cardiovascular disease, almost perfectly offsetting the damage from excess sodium. So what can you actually do about this? First, stop thinking about the salt shaker as your enemy. Remember, that's only responsible for about 25% of your sodium intake. The real culprit is processed and restaurant food. Start reading nutrition labels religiously. You'll be shocked when you see how much sodium is lurking in seemingly innocent products. A single serving of canned soup can contain 800 milligrams or more. Some frozen dinners pack over 1,000 milligrams in one meal. That's half your daily limit in one sitting. Cook more meals at home. When you prepare your own food, you control exactly how much salt goes into it. Use herbs and spices to add flavor instead of relying on salt. Garlic, black pepper, lemon juice, paprika, cumin, the list goes on. These can make food taste incredible without damaging your health. Consider potassium-rich foods like bananas, sweet potatoes, spinach, and avocados. These can help counterbalance some of the negative effects of sodium. The WHO recommends at least 3,510 milligrams of potassium daily. Most of us aren't getting nearly enough. Some countries have made incredible progress on this issue. The United Kingdom launched a salt reduction campaign back in 2003, and by 2008, they had reduced average intake significantly. At the population level, this translated to thousands of fewer deaths from heart disease and stroke. Finland did something similar and saw dramatic reductions in cardiovascular mortality. These aren't just statistics. These are real lives saved simply by eating less salt. The science is clear. Too much salt is slowly, quietly damaging multiple systems in your body. Your cardiovascular system, your kidneys, your bones, even increasing your cancer risk. The scary part is that this damage accumulates over decades. You might feel fine in your 20s and 30s while eating a high-salt diet. But by your 50s and 60s, the consequences become very real. Hypertension, heart disease, kidney problems, osteoporosis. These aren't inevitable parts of aging. In many cases, they're the result of decades of excessive sodium consumption. The good news is that it's never too late to make a change. Studies show that reducing salt intake can lower blood pressure relatively quickly, often within just a few weeks. Your kidneys can recover from mild damage if you give them a break. Your bones can rebuild if you stop depleting their calcium stores. But you have to take action. Start small. Don't try to cut all salt out of your diet overnight. That's not sustainable and it's not necessary. Just aim to gradually reduce your intake. Swap that frozen dinner for a home-cooked meal a few times a week. Choose low-sodium versions of canned goods when available. Rinse canned vegetables and beans to remove some of the sodium. These small changes add up over time. Your taste buds will adapt too. After a few weeks of eating less salt, you'll find that foods you used to enjoy taste way too salty. Look, I get it. Salt makes food taste good. Nobody wants to eat bland, boring meals. But here's the thing. You don't have to sacrifice flavor to protect your health. You just need to be smarter about how you season your food and where your sodium is coming from. Trust me, your future self will thank you when you're not dealing with high blood pressure, kidney disease, or recovering from a stroke. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe to the channel. We're committed to bringing you evidence-based health information that can genuinely improve your life. Drop a comment below and let me know. Are you going to check your sodium intake after watching this? Have you already made changes to reduce salt in your diet? I'd love to hear your stories. Until next time, stay healthy. And remember, that salt shaker is more powerful than you think. Use it wisely.